I just spent a week aboard Celebrity Cruise Line's newest ship, the Ascent. This is an Edge-class ship. This was my first time sailing with Celebrity, and of course my first time on the Ascent. We went to the Caribbean. We visited Nassau, Cozumel, and Grand Cayman. Today I'm going to walk you through my week. I'm going to show you around the ship, around our port stops. We're going to discover the amazing pool deck with all of the different things to do, check out the shows, see what it's like in the evening as far as entertainment, check out my first ever solo cabin with an infinite veranda, explore the Caribbean and this amazing new ship. It was an eventful week. A lot happened. So, let's get started. This was our itinerary. We left from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Nassau, Bahamas, had a sea day, went to Cozumel, Mexico, had another sea day, Georgetown, Grand Cayman, sea day, and then disembarked in Fort Lauderdale. It was very exciting to board the Ascent and to begin looking all around. We had beautiful weather the first part of the day. I explored the whole ship. It took a long time because this is a huge Edge-class ship. I went straight to my cabin. I had a solo cabin with an infinite veranda. Never had either of these things before. Even though this was a solo cabin, it did not feel cramped or compromised in any way. I had a slightly obstructed view, but no big deal. Bathroom felt full size. The shower was terrific and seemed full size. Now a solo cabin is missing a seating area. There's no couch here. There's very little clothes storage here. You have a slim closet and a few small drawers, and that's it. But perfectly nice room for one person, and I got a great deal. It began to rain later in the day when we sailed away. Still had a great time. At the very back of the ship, I discovered Eden. This is a 2-story lounge area, just huge. 2-story high glass windows, so much natural light, the perfect place to watch sail away. There's a bar here, a small cafe. It turned out this was a space well utilized during the cruise for craft classes and activities. Very sunny, very beautiful. I was getting more and more excited by the ship the more I explored it, really looking forward to the week ahead. The day was going great, and as we moved into evening, 2 things happened. One was a minor problem, one was a little more serious. First of all, I went straight to the spa when I boarded, and I purchased a week-long pass to the thermal suite. This is a venue you can use during spa hours. It's exclusively for people who buy a pass, and passes are limited. There is a huge sauna here, and then different rooms with steam and vaporizers and all kinds of things to use. I purchased my thermal pass. They charge you for the week, but it comes down to a substantial amount each day. I think it was around $30 to $35 per day for the whole cruise. I was told the thermal suite would open at 4 and be open until 10. I returned at 4 o'clock on the dot, planning to use it for a couple of hours. And at that point, I was told there was a camera crew inside filming promotional spots for Celebrity, and I could not access the thermal suite until after 7 p.m. We did have a letter in our staterooms informing us that the camera crew would be aboard all week filming promotional material for Celebrity, and we could expect to see them out and about. Not a big deal, but it did bother me that no one mentioned when I bought my pass that the thermal suite would be closed for 50% of the time it was open on that first day. I got the impression from the spa manager that he didn't think it was that big of a deal. I went to guest services to talk about it. They told me I had to take it up with the spa manager because on cruise ships, spas are managed independently. They're sort of a freelance franchise. So, wasn't happy about that. No big deal. But then the second thing happened. My room was going up and down dramatically, and I was hit with seasickness just out of the blue. I've been sailing for over 20 years. I've never had a problem with seasickness. I had some Dramamine in my bag. I always bring it just in case, so I took some of that. I went up top to the pool deck to walk around and get some fresh air. I didn't want to stay in my room because it was really going up and down. My room was on the 6th floor, near the very front of the ship. On the top deck, the wind was blowing like crazy, and it was freezing. Still, it felt better than being inside. I walked around a while. Over on Rooftop Garden, they were showing a big football game. I was feeling pretty sick at that point, so I just sat down in a chair and watched the football game for about 4 hours. Staying still and being out in the cold air and the cold wind really helped. By the time the game was over, my medicine had kicked in and I felt a lot better. I took a walk around the interior of the ship just to see what was going on before I went to bed. It was pretty late at this point. I discovered 2 disco parties underway. The main one was right here in the Grand Plaza at the Martini Bar. Now let me tell you, this was the centerpiece of the ship. This was the centerpiece of all of the nightly entertainment. There was a giant dance party here every single night, live music all afternoon and evening, and the martini bartenders were amazing. They kept everybody entertained, enthralled. This was a very busy place. Dancing was in full swing. People were having a fantastic time. It was a great evening. Now, if you're not familiar with Celebrity, they are marketed towards adults. Children are welcome on the ship. There is a teen club here. There's a kids camp here. However, on my sailing, there were probably less than 20 kids on the whole ship, and I don't recall seeing any children in the evenings when the dancing and entertainment was in full effect. It was very much an adult party, an adult atmosphere all evening long, and I found out this was going to go on night after night for the whole cruise. This was a very popular, happy spot with a lot of activity. Day 2 was a stop in Nassau, Bahamas. We had perfect weather. I don't normally get off the ship in Nassau. I just stay on the ship and enjoy everything on the pool deck. I wanted to go see the new Port Plaza in Nassau, so I got off the ship and I went and explored. This is a lovely new area. They have completely redone their waterfront here. This is a centralized area with lots of shopping, a mix of handmade things and mass-produced souvenir items. A place to get a few drinks. You can get your hair braided here if you like. Great place for pictures. If you want to get off the ship, do a little walking, get some fresh air, and buy a few things, this is the place for you. It was a very easy walk over and a very easy walk back, and before I knew it, I was back on the ship, ready to enjoy the pool deck for the day. I'm going to take a minute to show you around the pool deck of the Celebrity Ascent. Such an amazing place. There were several areas up here that turned out to be my most favorite places on the ship. First of all, the pool deck itself is beautiful. There is this amazing walking trail above the pool deck, and it makes a sort of figure 8. So you go up and down and crisscross between decks 15 and 16. You can get some great exercise. Here you see a ping pong table available. There were 2 ping pong tables. There were plenty of hot tubs to use. Great ocean views while you're out walking. I will say this walking trail was in use from sunrise to sunset. Lovely hot tubs overlooking the pool deck. The artistic feature on the pool deck was this octopus made out of shiny reflective metal. They had these little poolside cabanas you could rent for just your party for the day. Lots and lots of pool chairs available. These pool chairs right next to the pool were almost always taken all day long, but lots of chairs on the top deck. Here was an amazing area. It was a sort of catwalk right over the poolside bar, and on either side of the catwalk were these lovely shaded, covered seating areas. This was very popular, and there was also live music right here. There was also the indoor solarium. This was an adults-only area. 2 hot tubs and a small pool. Lots of chairs by the window, very nice. A great place to spend your time. The whole pool deck, inside and out, was amazing. I went to the Ocean Cafe buffet for lunch. This was a huge buffet. It's set up kind of like a marketplace or a bistro. You'll do lots of walking around here, looking at all the different things, choosing your lunch, choosing your dinner. This was open 3 times a day, every day. There was outdoor seating available, plenty of indoor seating as well. All of the usual things here, complimentary tea, juice, coffee. Lots of good choices here. Pretty basic food, but pretty good. There was also pizza available all day long and late into the evening. That night we had our first song and dance production show. It was called Bridges, put on by a huge cast, extremely talented, wonderful cast. Lots of singing, dancing, different kinds of dancing. There were acrobatics, there were gymnastics, there were aerials. It was everything you could ask for, and it was a great evening of entertainment. I capped off the evening by another walk around the pool deck, went back to my room early and went to bed. All in all, a great day too. I was really enjoying the ship so far and looking forward to day 3. Day 3 started off great. We had wonderful weather. I went up to the rooftop garden at sunrise. I did a morning stretch class, some morning meditation, just walked all around enjoying the sunrise on the ocean. There's nothing like it. So beautiful. One of the main reasons to cruise is to get out there and enjoy the sights. Sunset and sunrise on the ocean is amazing. I stopped off to look at Magic Carpet. It wasn't open yet. This is something I haven't mentioned. This Magic Carpet area is used as a lounge, a very beautiful, comfortable lounge with a bar in it. It goes up and down to different decks. There was a presentation that day in blue. Now this restaurant is just for suite guests, but we had a presentation here about future cruises. And speaking of future cruise, of course, they have a spot right here where you can book your next cruise and save a little money if you book while you're on the ship. I looked at some shops to pass the time. They have a huge Effie shop here with high-end jewelry. Most of the shops on the ship were high-end merchandise, not especially interesting to me, but always worth looking at. Lots and lots of high-end watches, some resort wear. They did have some celebrity merchandise like t-shirts and hats, but mostly it was high-end things. I visited the gym. I went to the thermal suite for a while, and I was eventually able to snag a stone lounger. And then I went over to the club. This is their area where they do games and trivia. We had the most fun games that day. They were interactive games with these lights on the floor where you have different challenges, like here you're supposed to step on the white dots and avoid the red dots. And here you're supposed to run a certain path and not touch the pink squares. It was amazingly fun and lots of laughs here. The entertainment and trivia staff, activities staff, they were all just phenomenal. I passed the day just enjoying myself, and then that evening in the theater, we had Andrew Derbyshire. He was amazing. An amazingly talented, wonderful performer. He ended up putting on 3 or 4 shows that entire week. One of the main production shows we were supposed to see didn't happen that week because of difficulties with some technical issues. So Andrew not only did all of his normal shows, but he put on an extra show. He was terrific. That evening I went back to the plaza, watched the dancing, listened to the music, and just enjoyed myself. And before I knew it, it was time to go to bed, wake up, and prepare for our day in Cozumel. I was up at sunrise, looked out my balcony, and we were docked right next to Celebrity Apex. The Ascent is slightly larger than the Apex. These are both huge ships, just beautiful to look at. I got off the ship in the morning so I could go walk around the shopping area of Cozumel Port. We were at the International Pier. There are 3 different piers that you can dock in when you go to Cozumel, and we were at the International Pier. I had no real plans for Cozumel other than to look at a few shops, take a lot of pictures and video. I did want to go over to Margaritaville and buy a t-shirt or a hat, something like that. I know that's very touristy, but that's what I wanted to do while I was there. Margaritaville is a place you can stop in, get a souvenir, get a cocktail, and get something to eat if you want to. I did my shopping here, and then I went out and continued to look around. This International Pier port is just crammed with shop after shop. The shops range from very small stalls to very big shops you can go into. There's a Señor Frogs here for some Mexican food. There's a tequila a-go-go here for drinks. Great views of your ships, of the water. If you want to come outside, get some air, and just walk around for an hour, this is a great place to do that. And of course, here's the Cozumel sign. You're going to see this all over Instagram. You're going to have to wait your turn if you want a picture by that sign. Here's Tequila a Go-Go. There's another little sign where you can get photos. It was a busy day. There were 3 ships in port that day, probably about 8,000 to 9,000 people. Here's another photo op. But in any case, I walked around Cozumel International Pier all that I wanted to, and then I was back on deck by lunchtime. Really enjoying the weather. I spent the day on the pool deck. Now, I did have to go to medical at this point because I had cut my hand the day before and it wasn't looking too good. So I went to medical that afternoon. They fixed me up, no problem. Then I was back out on the ship, enjoying the walking trail, enjoying the weather, really enjoying looking over at Apex. And I could tell that their walking track was just as popular as ours. Really enjoyed the nice sunny afternoon on the pool deck, just resting. I didn't do any more swimming the rest of the cruise because I didn't want to get the injury on my hand wet. So I went over to one of my most favorite places, and this is Sunset Bar. It's right next to Rooftop Garden. Absolutely gorgeous. This has a sort of Southwest, old school California, Southern California kind of feel to it. Extremely popular, very difficult to find a seat here, especially at sunset. But look at these views, amazing. It was a terrific day, and before I knew it, we were on to day 5, another sea day. I will keep day 5 brief because it was a sea day, and by now you get the picture. I spent my sea day on the pool deck, enjoying the sun, enjoying the weather. I didn't do any swimming, but I walked the walking track and just really enjoyed how beautiful the pool deck is up here on the Ascent. I got coffee here at Cafe El Baccio. This was one of my favorite places on the ship. I spent a lot of time here. I would come get a coffee or some tea every day and just sit in this beautiful seating area. I visited Eden a few more times. Didn't really like hanging out there. Even though it's a gorgeous venue, wasn't really my kind of thing. I spent most of my time indoors at Cafe El Baccio and most of my time outdoors at the Rooftop Garden. I had dinner in the main dining room that night. There are 4 main dining rooms on board. Each one has a different emphasis, and you can preview the menus each day and request dining at whichever one you want in the evening. The performer that day was Nikenge, and she was amazing, absolutely phenomenal. She put on an amazing show. She put on a second show later that week. Both of them were outstanding. Another afternoon of trivia and games and things like that. Relaxing in my cabin. Now, one thing I did find out about my cabin, this infinite veranda, it's really nice, but it gets really warm. And your room will stay cooler if you close the blinds when you're not there, and also if you close these glass doors. If I was going to leave the room for the day, I would close both of these things, and I always close them both in the evening. And that brings us to day 6, Georgetown, Grand Cayman. Georgetown was an easy day for me. I had booked a stingray excursion to go swim with the stingrays, but because of the cut on my hand, I canceled that. It was a tendering port, so all I did that day was take a boat over and do some walking around. I kept it really simple, took some photos and video, looked in a few gift shops, and headed right back to the ship. I spent hours at the window that day at the Ocean View Buffet. I had my book with me, I had my phone with me, and I just enjoyed spending the day looking out at that beautiful blue water, enjoying the sun, enjoying the scenery, reading my book, and just really relaxing. It was a great day. That evening we had a magician on board. He was named Magical Bones. He was terrific. We were not allowed to take video while he was performing, so let me just tell you, he was amazing. Another great day, another wonderful evening of entertainment, and then we were on to our final day, our day at sea. Our final day was a sea day. I spent it the same as I have been, up on the pool deck, enjoying the weather, enjoying the view of the ocean and all of the things up there. I spent time in my room, I wandered the ship, I had some final snacks, took final video, and just had a great day, and then packed up to go home. For those who are still with me, I would like to wrap this up with a few thoughts about sailing Celebrity for the first time. I have never sailed on a ship that was almost all adults, And let me just say, on my particular sailing, I would say 80% of the passengers were over the age of 70. This was a whole new feel for me, a whole new dynamic. I really enjoy family ships where it's kind of busy and hectic and crazy, but I discovered I also really like this atmosphere as well. Every night, the dance floor was covered, the music was well appreciated. Evenings were all about dancing, cocktails, and enjoying yourselves. The shows were terrific, and the shows were geared towards adults. I found the service on the Ascent to be outstanding, really wonderful crew, working very hard, very positive, very energetic, made you feel very welcome to be there. I enjoyed my solo cabin. I went on this cruise to enjoy the ship, not necessarily get off in port and do a lot of things, and this cruise accomplished that. I had a relaxing vacation, got to experience Celebrity, got to experience the Ascent. This was a beautiful ship. There's really nothing here to complain about. The areas that they have designed, like the rooftop garden, the sunset bar, the pool deck, the lounges, they're all really wonderful, really unique. The Ascent has a non-smoking casino, which I really appreciated. I used that throughout the week as well. The entertainment was great, and the food was good. So would I sail Celebrity again? Absolutely. I enjoyed the Ascent enough to where I would love to try out the other Edge-class ships, the Beyond, the Apex, the Edge. Thank you so much for following along on my week. I had a great cruise, really relaxing vacation, and I appreciate you coming along with me. If you'd like to see a full tour of the Celebrity Ascent or a full ship review, please check my channel. Have you been aboard the Celebrity Ascent or another Edge-class ship? Do you have a comment to leave or a suggestion for your fellow cruiser? If so, please leave a comment. Thank you so much for stopping by, and enjoy your next cruise. Bye-bye.